judge is there. Smooth something like this.
Good morning. Hey, good morning.
Morning.
Ms. Gomez.
Good morning. This is Adrian.
Okay, and then we have Ms. Sampis.
Tempeh? Yes.
Okay,
Yes, sir.
Tempeh.
and Ms. Vital. Okay, if I could get y'all to raise your right hand, please. Do you and each of you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give in this call should be the truth so help you God?
I do.
Yes.
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 Go right
Okay.
ahead.
All right, well, thank you guys for being here. Ms. Vitale, let me start with you, okay?
Yes.
Did you know Pearl Anna Harmon?
Yes.
And how did you know Miss Harmon?
How did I know her? I met her in May 1980 when her mother watched my daughter, who's now in her 40s. Yes, I've known her most of her life.
Okay. Have you had a chance to look at the affidavit that we sent you, the affidavit of heirship?
Yes, sir, I did.
Did it appear that we had all the facts correct on that document?
Yes.
My understanding is that Mrs. Harmon was not married at the time of her death and that she had the one child, and that was Faith. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Okay. And the only piece of property that we know of is the one that we listed under item 11 is the one that's on your affidavit. Is that correct? Do you know of any other property?
No, I'm not aware of anything else. I was with her during that whole time. Yes.
And the other thing I would ask you is, were you aware of her having a will?
No, she did not. We talked about it many times, but we never got to it.
Okay, Judge, I'll pass that. Thank you, Mrs. Vitale.
You're welcome.
Okay, we're gonna have you execute that affidavit, and if you'll send it to my office, we'll get it recorded, okay? If we already have it.
So I should notarize it with my notary and send it to your office?
Yes, ma'am. Isn't that how
Okay.
you do it? Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Okay, no further questions for Mr. Vitale. I would talk to Mrs. Gomez. Hi, Mrs. Gomez.
Good morning.
You heard Mrs. Vitale's testimony, right?
Yes.
And do you agree with what she's had to say about heirship? There's no other children and your mom was not married at the time. Is that correct?
Yes. So Pearl Harmon is my aunt, and the
Yes.
information she stated is correct.
Okay, thank you. I'm gonna come back to you I'm gonna come back to you on another matter, but I wanted to get with Mrs. Frida Sempe. Mrs. Sempe, how did you know Mrs. Harmon?
My mother and her mother were sisters. She's the first cousin.
She's the first cousin, okay. Do you feel like how long have you known her? Let me ask you that.
2467, the day that I was born, she was already there.
Okay. You know her all your life, okay. So you feel comfortable with the facts that you stated on the affidavit?
Correct.
Okay, and we'll ask you to do the same thing. We'll ask you to execute it in front of a notary and send it to us and we'll get it recorded, okay?
Yes, sir.
Mrs. Gomez, I'm gonna come back to you now and I'm gonna talk to you about the document we gave you called the Proof of Death and Other Facts. Have you had a chance to review that document?
Yes.
Are all the facts stated on there true and correct to the best of your knowledge?
Yes, they are.
And do you agree with Mrs. Vitale that your mom did not have a will?
That is correct. My aunt Pearl Harmon. did not have a
Aunt,
will.
I'm sorry. I don't know why I keep saying that. Your aunt. Okay. But she doesn't have a will, correct?
No, she does not have a will.
Okay. Okay, then I'll pass this witness, Your Honor. I'm just gonna ask you to do the same thing, okay? We're gonna have you execute the proof of death and other facts and send it to us. What about the oath? Can she go ahead and do that in front of the notary as well?
Yes.
Okay, the oath
Uh,
as well.
So, Ms. Gomez, just a quick question, since I don't have the entire guardianship file in front of me. What is the nature of the disability of Faith?
She is considered legally blind. She has silver palsy, CP. She's in a wheelchair. She's wheelchair bound. She
Gotcha.
needs, okay.
That's enough. All righty. All right, so whenever y'all get the proof signed along with your oath, Ms. Gomez, you get those back to Mr. Brinkley. He'll get those e-filed with the county clerk. When he does that, I'll sign the judgment declaring heirship and the order authorizing administration of the estate, and he'll guide you through that process. So I hope everything goes well, and he'll let us know if y'all have any questions. Thank you for being here today.
Thank you, ladies.
Thank you. God bless you guys. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
The decedent is Faith's mom. I don't know why I was getting that confused. But
Right.
The disabled girl, that's her mom.
Okay, so we have Mr. Dowden, and then at 10, we've got Mr. Celeste. Okay, this is one that we thought we were doing yesterday.
Yes, I
and
was
it's
looking
not,
at the
so-
wrong date.
You guys done with me? All right,
Yes,
I'm
sir.
gonna head back. Y'all have a good day.
Yeah, you get the heck out of here.
My day.
Bye.
Got it. Okay, you're not muted, so you should be okay once, they just haven't opened it up all the way yet.
All right, cool. Thank
Do you see
you.
Rhonda on there now?
I don't see Rhonda. I see Judge. I don't see Pastor Johnson.
Okay, there's Dallin.
Okay.
There.
There's Pastor Johnson. Okay, cool.
Why are you not? Oh. There you go. Now you're good.
Always look at that.
Good morning.
Morning, Judge. How are you?
All right, I don't see Rhonda. I have no video.
Okay, let me see. There I am.
There you are. And who do you have as witnesses? today?
Pastor Johnson, Your Honor. Pastor Dalvin Johnson.
Okay, was he a witness or did he witness to handwriting?
He was a witness to the execution of the will, Judge.
Okay, and you live in Montgomery, Texas?
Yes.
So apparently, Miss Stewart, before she passed away, lived in Montgomery, Texas, and then moved to Port Neches. Is that correct?
That is correct.
All righty. If I can get both of you to raise your right hands, please. Do you and each of you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give in this call should be the truth to help you God?
I do.
I do.
All right. I'm going to hold up what purports to be the last will and testament of Miss Darlene Stewart. Do y'all recognize that as being such?
Yes.
Yes.
And then I'm going to go back to I'm going to start on the signature page. Do y'all recognize that as being her signature on that document?
Yes.
Yes.
I'm gonna go back, Pastor, on the attestation page and ask you, is that your signature on that document?
That is my name. If you'll move it over just a little bit. Yes, that's my
Oh, yeah.
signature.
Pardon me, right there.
Yes. Uh-huh.
All right. And so you were physically present at the time Ms. Stewart executed this will, and at that time she was above the age of 18, you were above the age of 14. Is that correct?
Absolutely.
Okay. And all right, Mr. Dowden?
Thank you, Judge. Ma'am, your name is Rhonda Wagner, is that right?
Yes.
And Ms. Wagner, you're here today to ask Judge Brannick to admit to probate the last will and testament of your mother, Darlene Stewart, is that right?
Yes.
And Ms. Stewart passed away on or about April 12th of this year, 2023, is that true?
Yes.
Okay, and you've previously just now identified for the court her last will and testament dated January 16th back in 2013, is that true?
Yes.
And have you had an opportunity, Ms. Wagner, to review the proof of death and other facts that we're going to file with the court in this matter?
Yes.
Okay, and is everything in that document within your knowledge and true and correct?
Is okay. Yes, it is correct.
Yes, ma'am. Okay. And then also we sent you an oath and you assure the court that the writing that's been offered is the last will and testament of your mother so far as you know, and that you will take care of the affairs of her estate to the best of your ability. Is that true?
Yes.
Okay, Judge, that's all I have of Ms. Wagner, unless you need anything further.
That's fine. Thank you. I think you covered everything.
Thank you, Judge. And then if I could call Pastor Dowen Johnson. Pastor Johnson,
Yes.
thank you for assisting us today. And so I understand again that you were present on January 16, 2013 at the time of the execution of Ms. Stewart's last will and testament. Is that right?
That is correct.
We provided you with a proof by a subscribing witness. Have you had an opportunity, Pastor, to review that document?
Yes, I have.
And is everything contained in that document true and correct?
It is true and correct.
Okay.
Yes.
Judge, that's all we have unless you need anything further.
Only a couple of questions to satisfy my curiosity. I'm trying to remember Maybank, Texas. That's up by Dallas?
Yeah, it's about an hour, a little more than an hour south of Dallas, on Cedar Creek Reservoir.
Somewhere around Corsicana?
Yeah, we're a little bit east of Corsicana. We're between Athens. We're closer to Athens, about an hour west of Tyler.
Yeah. Remember, somebody I went to Baylor Law School with was from Maybank. I'm searching through my files right now, trying to remember who it was. Just that your mom was living in 2013 in Montgomery. What brought her to Fort Neches?
Oh, she grew up in Port Arthur. She was born in Port Arthur and graduated from Thomas Jefferson High School. I went to Port Neches Groves High School. My brother still lives there. Her retirement was to move up to April Sound, and I'm following in her footsteps by retiring and moving up here to this lake, closer to Dallas. But yeah, they lived in Katy for about 6 years while I took care of them. You know, they were still in their own home, but they were close to me. And then as they were getting, older, my brother was going to take care of my mom. And so that was part of moving her back to Port Neches.
Yeah, and well, there's a lot of Michael Simons in Jefferson County. Now, there's Mike Simon, who's the municipal judge in Groves.
Yeah, no relation as far as we know. But we'll hear about it a lot. My brother was a probation officer there in the county and is now a consultant that provides counseling and so forth. So he's involved in the community. And so, but we don't have any relation to Judge Michael Simon.
Okay, and your brother lives in Port Neches?
Yeah.
Yeah, and the reason I'm so curious is because Castle is just like 2 blocks from my house, so.
Well, when I was in high school, we were one of the first houses in Windsor. We moved from Groves to Fort Natchez. And we were one of the first houses in that neighborhood. So we've got a lot of memories there as well.
What was the first street in Windsor?
It's not,
Probably Sable Lane.
uh,
It was probably Sable Lane.
well, it was right around the corner from Sable Lane, and it's terrible that I can't tell you what the street name was.
Well, there was Green Meadow, Castle, then Nugent, then Yorkshire,
Yeah, they didn't
King George.
those 0 lot line homes. That whole area wasn't even developed. We were right up next to Ridgecrest. Windsor Lane, it may have been Windsor Lane.
There's Windsor Lane, Castle, Round Tower.
Yeah.
Those were probably the first. Round Tower and Castle were probably the first homes built.
Yeah.
All righty, so y'all are gonna sign those documents. Once you get those signed and returned back to him, he'll e-file those with the county clerk. I'll sign the order admitting the will to probate and authorizing the issuance of letters of administration to you. You will then be able to administer the estate. Make sure that you cooperate with Mr. Dowden in providing him with information he needs to do an inventory, because the Texas Estates Code requires one to be filed within 90 days of the date that I signed the order. So other than that, I appreciate you, Pastor, for being here today. And I hope y'all have a great rest of your week.
And Judge, real quick, Ms. Wagner has already provided us with a nice package. So preparation of the inventory is on us. So we'll get right on that. And we appreciate your time on a Thursday morning, Judge.
Yeah, Ms. Wagner, did your mother's house flood during Harvey?
No, there was no signs of flooding when we had the inspection done. You know, there was no reported prior flooding.
Yeah, I think about half the homes there flooded and half didn't on Castle. So, all right. Well, y'all have a great one.
Thank you, Judge. Thank you, Pastor. Thank you, Rhonda.
Okay.